Hi, Derek Evans here for the Real Estate Radio Network. Today we're going to talk about two really important subjects. First of all, closing your segments, exactly what to do, and then closing the show, which is a little bit different. So a couple things. When you're closing the segment, there's a few things that you have to make sure you do, and there's a few things you have to make sure that you do not do. You do not tease the break. I can't tell you how many new hosts I hear saying, we're going to break in 3 minutes. There's no reason to, foreshadow the break or tease the break. The break isn't something that we even want to talk about. You don't even want to use that word. You never even want to say, we're going to take a break. We're taking a break. You don't want anyone who's listening to think that the action stops. You want them to think the conversation is going to keep going, and they have to stick around to wait to get their turn to start listening to it again. Never talk about break. Never say the word break. That's not what you should be doing. Here's how you do it. When it comes time, you hear it in your ear, it's in your headphones, the board operator saying 1 minute, don't rush. 1 minute is a long time. You got plenty of time to tease the next segment. And there's a difference between teasing that segment and foreshadowing that segment. Foreshadowing would be me saying, when we come back, we're going to talk about X. Okay, we're going to talk about interest rates, for example. We're going to talk about the local market in this area. That would be foreshadowing. Teasing is when you actually tell them why they need to come back, why they need that information. Coming up, we're going to talk about why it's important for you to know the new laws and how it could save you money or cost you money. We'll save you money when we come right back. That way you're telling them why. Hey, you have to stick around and listen because it's going to cost you money if you don't. That's a good tease. You got to give them the why. Why do I have to stick around? Because that's what everybody's always asking themselves, why? That's what you have to answer and what you have to basically cater to when you're teasing a segment. Now, there's a totally different ball game when you go to actually closing the show. There's a few things you have to make sure you do when you close the show. First of all, thank your board operator or your producer, whoever it is that's helping you with the show, running the board, whatever it may be. Thank that person for helping you, and always give them an opportunity to say you're welcome or be on the air. Keeping the board operator involved is very, very important ultimately to having a really good show, or your producer, whoever it is that's in the studio with you. Also, make sure you tease the next show that's coming up on the station. Be a team player. If your ultimate goal is to be a daily radio show host, and it should be, then you want to be seen as a team player. It doesn't matter who the next show is, tease it. Coming up next, we got these guys. We're going to talk about this. Stick around. Give out the call letters. Give out the frequency. Tell anyone who's listening to save this station in your dial. Do things that make you appear as a really team player, that make you a team player for real. And also give you the opportunity to capture business. If someone is listening to your show right at that moment, there's a chance they're the type of person who's going to be in their car listening to the radio at that point in time. Have them save the station in their dial. Then they have a better chance of coming around to you. So when we're closing the segment, we always have to tease. We never want to talk about the break. We just say coming up, we give the tease. When we're closing the show, we have to thank our producer and our board operators. We have to thank our guests. And most of all, we need to tease the show that's coming up behind you on your station, and give your station call letters and say the station in your dial. Do all of those things when you're closing segments, and you'll be surprised. That's probably the number one thing that's most difficult for new hosts. So if you can master that, you'll be way ahead of the game. This is Derek Evans for the Real Estate Radio Network.